Hello, my name is Tiffany Calder, and I'd like to welcome you to my CIT336 dynamic project video walkthrough. My project here is called Pine Lodge Dudes Database, and what it is what it's meant to be is a database for a dog breeder, in this particular case, a Labradoodle. It's the dudes here, a Labradoodle breeder, to have a repository for the dogs, names and whether they're retired or active, and their size, gender. So that was my goal. And I'm going to quickly looking here at the project proposal. There's my project meets the requirements. However, there are some things that changed from my proposal to the final product. One of those was, in my initial one, I had thought that we would be able to add and delete categories, but when I got into it, I realized the categories I was thinking of were the sizes of the dogs, and those don't change. So I took that functionality out. Eventually, because this is a real world application I've been wanting to develop, and so I jumped at the chance to learn how and to do so. Eventually, I have areas I would like to build it out. I use a database for a Labradoodle breeder right now that does not have all the customization that I know it could have if it was not, a purchased out of the box kind of database set up for us. So my goal is to be able to build one that lets me do what I want to do. So there are a few places where I had to scale back because I was starting to run when I didn't know how to walk yet when it comes to the project. So anyway, we've got our PHP controller. We've got the dog index, and it's just called index. I've got some database model files in there, custom functions, PDO library, some different views that we'll go through where you can add a dog and view dogs and edit them, delete them. This changed a lot. I have much more than 2 tables because I did some normalization here where I decided not to do the birth date. I didn't think that was important for this, but I took out the gender into its own table because it's kind of standalone, as well as status. So anyway, taking a look at my database itself here in the PHP, my admin, these are the different tables I've got. So I've got pattern and color in here. They're not being used at this point, but they are ones I would like to incorporate into it in the future. Another functionality I plan to incorporate is based on this admin table. My project has the ability for a user to create an account, and that's all fine and well. However, I feel like only certain people should be allowed to delete or change the dogs because that's some data integrity, whereas other people maybe just need to view. I have plenty of siblings that are involved in this family business, and not all of them have that need to be able to manipulate the data. So my goal eventually will be when they sign in for it to compare the admin ID to, let's say 1 and 3 at this point would be the Heidi, that's my mom, and myself would be the ones that would be allowed to manipulate the data. So if the user that was logged in was an ID of 1 or 3, the views we would get would be full access. Whereas if, say, my husband logged in here, my goal is that he would be able to view the dogs, the lists of them, but not actually edit them or delete them. So that's my goal. That's down the road, and I don't think that'll be too difficult for me to jump to. So anyway, we're going to log in here as myself. And that brings me to my list of all dogs. I can sort it over here by the size. We've got mini dogs, medium-sized ones, and standard-sized Labradoodles. In here, we can view the details of the dog. We get the gender and status added on here. This dog has a lovely name of I can delete the dog. And if we look in here, if I go to stock dog, and take a look at my table here, is no longer listed on the list here. So now there are only 9 when there were 10. When we add a dog, we go in here, we select a name. Let's say I want Peaches and Cream, and we'll call her Peaches. She's a female, she's retired. Okay, let's save that dog. You'll notice over here there are multiple dogs named Peaches now. So we have Peaches here with the registered name of Peaches and Cream, and we have Peaches here with the registered name of Peachy Keen. I'm sure we've all known somebody who has had 5 fish all named the same thing, or four dogs that have all shared the same name over the years. It's perfectly feasible for a dog to have the same call name as another dog. Sometimes my mom might buy a dog, or a dog comes with a name already, but these registered names have to be unique. So I tried to build that functionality, and so to demonstrate, we're going to take Peachy Keen here and try to name her Peaches in the registered name. So we'll go into details. I'm going to edit her. Peaches and Cream, sorry, not Peaches. So we'll go to Peaches and Cream, that dog I just added, and if I try to save it, I get told here, registered name must be unique. Dog with that name already exists. Well, what if I delete it and I try to save it without that in there? Oh, sorry, all the fields are required. So, and here it's pulling this because the original dog, the last thing I submitted, the original submission had the Peaches and Cream. So until I put something else in there, so we'll go back to Peachy Keen and save it. Oh, that was the problem. Because I was playing around with it to make sure my functionality worked. When the first time I tried to save it as Peachy Keen, I was doing it this way without the E. So, for instance here, if I add another new dog, I've got this dog with triple E. Let's say I add a standard, and I'm going to name it triple E, and it's going to be named Bud, and it's a male, and he's retired. He's going to say, oh, no, you can't. Well, what if I do it all capitalized? That's different, right? Nope, sorry, doesn't matter that it's all capitalized. What if I put a space after it? Nope, sorry, that's still the same name. So I'm going to have to go with 4 E's. And there we go. So that was one of my biggest deals with functionality, was sorting that out to where the registered names could not be repeated. So again, these are just kind of the views we have. I can go in here and I can delete Lucille. I showed to add a dog. Let's log out and we can create a user. We're going to have this user named Mary Jones, and her username is going to be mary@jones.com, and maybe her password is Mary Jones because she's not a very smart user. We're going to register her, and we're all in here. If I look in here at my table, Mary Jones has been added right here, so she has access. If I log out and then I try to go back, it's not going to let me. It's going to keep me here at the login because it's destroyed the session when I log out. So I'm going to pull some of the code over here to take a look at some of this. So this is one of my database files here. And this is the one that deals with the actual dogs. I have one that deals with the category. I called it category, but really it came down to if I needed to, well, I can pull it up here. If I need to pull a size of dog or anything to do with that wasn't specific to the dog. So I've got, oh, it's opening it on my other screen, sorry. And here we've got, getting the categories, getting the name based on the category ID, the genders, the status of the dog. But here in my stock dog one, I've got getting all the dogs that belong to a certain category, getting all the dogs. This is my one for the names. I'm getting dogs based on the registered name, where it's equal to the registered name, or getting a dog based on a dog ID. That equal to the registered name one, right here in my add dog, I took that, I assigned it, I brought in the registered name from my form, And if things are empty, let's have an error. So then I assigned a new variable, the function get dogs by registered name, passing in that variable. And right here, I used two nested functions here. So let's trim that so we get rid of the trailing spaces and the spaces at the front. And let's take that string and put it into lowercase. Now let's compare it to the one that we've passed in from the form. So this is the one gathered from the database. And this is the one from the form, also trimmed and string to lowercase. So if those are exactly the same and the dog ID that came from the database here, this reg name match, the dog ID is not equal to the dog ID that we are, this is for editing, or, oh, sorry, this is for adding. So this one actually doesn't matter. It's redundant. I could take it out. If we go up here to the editing one, that's where this matters. If the dog ID is not equal to the dog ID that we've brought in from our edit, when the edit button was clicked, that's where this is coming from. So if the one from the database is not the same as that one, then it's going to tell you the registered name must be unique. However, if those matched, it's not going to trigger on it because it's the same dog. You're just working with the same dog. So that I think was one of my trickier, it's 3 lines of code, but it took me a very long time, a ridiculously long time. So, this is just one of my forms that I have here to display the dogs. And yeah, so I think that is all I have for you. And thank you for watching my project video.